This is why I'm doing this channel. I'm trying to educate people and give all the tools that I did to get to where I am today so that maybe other people can have healthy relationships. In my head. Hello everyone, if you're new here, I do mental health videos Monday through Friday, so if you're into mental health, you want to make sure your thinking is good and clear and healthy, then hit subscribe and hit the bell afterwards to get notified every time that I do a video. I am Ryan Liberty, and today we're going to talk about, or tonight I should say, I walk around at night, we're going to talk about running a mental health channel and what that feels like and what goes into that. And that's only going to be like a part of this video. The rest of this video I'm going to be talking about my own mental health. This is something I think I want to start doing in this channel. So if you don't want to hear about that, if you don't want to hear me complaining, because I'm sure a lot of it's going to be complaining, then listen to the first part about the YouTube stuff and then feel free to click off. Okay, well, the place where I normally record, I've kind of gotten to a pattern of like where I record. There was a whole bunch of people there, and I had this reaction that I haven't had in years. I used to have it when I had generalized anxiety, where my breathing became like really shallow, and it was automatically shallow. It wasn't like, I mean, obviously I was reacting to them, but it was like I couldn't deepen my breath. But let's get to what you're here for, first of all, which is running a mental health channel. What is that like? So it's frustrating. I have a lot of difficulty with it. I did a video previously on this channel about mental health for YouTubers, and I discussed some of the challenges that it is just in running a YouTube channel, period, because there's the whole algorithm and there's lack of funding because the advertising here doesn't help, believe me. And the challenge of getting known, especially when you're doing something like I am, which is trying to get known for a broad topic, mental health. Like, I'm not going for specifically depression, let's say, or even like more specific, like seasonal depression or something. If you're going for a niche down topic, it's a little bit easier to get known on YouTube, but I have made over, I think we're up to like 226 or 7 videos now on this channel, and I'm still struggling to get known. So there's a struggle inherent in that. So taking the logistics out of everything, what's difficult, I think, about running a mental health YouTube channel is I want my channel to be educational. So when people come to me, they kind of, I hope, get a sense that they're going to get some kind of information. And so I don't know that people are here necessarily to know about me, which I even hesitated to do this video, but I have a strategy behind what I'm doing here for getting my channel to grow, and this is part of that strategy. But I questioned, like, do people really care about me? You know, people really just kind of come here wanting answers, or they want to know some kind of information. So I consider this channel an education channel. And that can be really hard because there are days when I want to talk about me. I want to explain what I'm going through. I want to talk with other people. And yet, if I show some sort of, I don't want to say weakness because it's not weakness, but if I give away how my own mental health is going, some people might take that to mean that I'm not somebody who should be talking about this because I still struggle with things. Other people, hopefully yourself, would hear that and say, like, no, that makes him qualified to talk about this stuff because he gets it. And I do get it. But if I show that on every single video, I was doing that a lot in the beginning when I started this whole in my head vlog thing, I think people get turned off by it. On the other hand, there's going to be people who are running a mental health channel who are talking about their personal lives all the time, and that can feel very invasive. It can feel like people feel like they have access to you, more access than they should, and that's troubling. You know, people feel like they have more of an intimate relationship with you than they do because you're giving a lot of intimate information to them. However, you're not necessarily receiving a lot back. Which brings me to another thing that I struggle with all the time here, which is that, well, first of all, I'm getting notifications on my phone as I record this, and that's bothering the hell out of me. Something else I struggle with is that I don't always get a lot of feedback on this channel. When I do get feedback, it's usually people asking questions, wanting answers to things. Sometimes I can't answer those questions. I do not have a degree in psychology. I am not a therapist. I'm not any way schooled in this. I've schooled myself, basically. I've taught myself, I've gone through my own stuff, and I'm sharing what I know, and I'm learning as I go, and that's part of the struggle as well, is learning. So I don't know if that gives you a full, well-rounded view of what it's like to run a mental health channel, but it's so much work. It's so much work to get known, to learn, to be an authority. I get people messaging me sometimes about things where I'm like, I can't help this person, and I have to just let it go because I can't help that person. And I have a limited amount of time to do everything that I'm doing. Right now, this is my life, and I have a lot of different, we'll get to that in a minute, but there's a lot of different things that I'm trying to do, and I just don't have the time to individually help people one-on-one as much as I would love to. Okay, so me personally, I face a lot of challenges. Like, this is moving towards my mental health now and not so much to a mental health YouTube channel, although I guess it's related in some ways. So I'm out here at night filming these videos. It's a challenge because I am in the public. There are people around me all the time, people who may be able to hear my conversations. I feel very exposed, I feel very vulnerable. However, in my personal life, I don't really have the privacy, or sometimes I do have privacy, but it's just stressful for me to try to do this at home. Maybe for some context, I think it's important to understand the last major life event that I went through, which was at the end of 2015. I was living with my ex, who I was engaged to. We had a 6-year-long relationship, and then he broke up with me. I've talked about it extensively on this channel. I don't think I need to get into all the details, but I moved out. We both moved out. It was a major event in my life that I'm still recovering from. And so fast forward to today, I'm gonna go over the past month, like what was my mental health like in the past month. So I have had suicidal ideation in the past month. Just like 4 or 5 days ago, I was crying in bed because it just was like too much. I'm under a lot of stress right now, and I don't show that so much on my channel. I know some of you are in my support group on Facebook. I don't really show it in there because I feel like I need to have I need to keep it together on my channel. Like, it's not all about me. It's not about what's going on with me, and it doesn't really help you to learn the things that you need to learn in your life to talk about me. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do for the people who do want to get to know me, because I think maybe there is a small section of people who do want to know more about me out there, and you guys let me know down in the comments how you feel. But maybe like once a month, I think this would be a good thing to do, is like my mental health once a month. Maybe at the beginning of the month like I'm doing now, just to kind of give you an upkeep and see like that I'm a human and I have my own shit going on. So I have been struggling. I've been under a lot of stress. There is possibly an impending major thing that's going to be happening in my life in the next month or two, related to finances, because I have been trying to build a business out of this. This has been an area of struggle for me my entire life, really, finances, and I seem to always wind up in a situation where I am down and out completely. And not only am I down and out as far as resources, but my mental health suffers immensely. So that is impending. I see it coming. It's been coming. I have been working to make this into a business. That's why I'm always pimping out my Patreon page and saying that I have resources over there for you, because I want to do this full time. I don't want to. I have had so many traumatic events happen to me in career that I hate working for somebody else. I don't feel good when I'm working for somebody else. I know that I feel best when I'm working for myself, when I'm an entrepreneur. I feel challenged. I work harder, although I did work very hard during working for other people. But I just hate, I've just learned over the years, it's not me. It's not my path in life. My concern here is that I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to have to stop doing this. I don't know how I'm even going to pick it up. I don't know how, like, it just seems like everything's going to crumble. And so that is always playing in my mind. And that leads to thoughts of suicidal ideation. That leads to nights where I'm very upset. And yet I keep pushing through the stress, which I know is not healthy. And that's why every now and then you'll see me skip a day here on YouTube, because I can't deal with the stress sometimes. So I also do a lot of the negative behaviors that I tell us not to do here on this channel. And I'm always working on myself as much as I'm encouraging you to work on yourself. You know, like I said, finances, money seems to be my sticking point right now. I know a lot of people who I met with my ex in 2015 who they're into entrepreneurship, they're into all of this stuff, and I've watched them go on, and because of the way my ex and I broke up and how he kind of like slandered me to people, and my attempt to defend myself and to try to explain to people that he was not everything that he seemed probably looked to other people as though I was slandering him. It rifted a lot of relationships with people who I thought were really close friends, who I had known. Some of them I had known for years, some of them I had just met in that 2015, but those relationships severed. They have never recovered to where they were before. And it frustrates me because I compare and I see a lot of these people supporting each other, and it's really irritating. It really, this is the anger part of my mental health. I get really angry because I had supported all of them. I'm always on Facebook liking things. I still do it. I still like things, comment on things, cheer them on, and yet I don't get the same in return. And it's really frustrating. And I really blame that on the fact that me and my ex wound up parting ways, which I also mostly blame on my ex because he was abusive to me, emotionally abusive, and I know enough about mental health to know what my part in things was and to know that most of what was going on was his part to deal with, and he really kind of put me through the ringer, and I feel like most of those 6 years of my life were robbed. So there's bitterness, there's anger as far as that goes. It's not something I dwell on. I'm not thinking about my ex all the time, even though I talk about it a lot on here. I talk about it because I know you guys can relate to it. I know a lot of people going through that experience, and people who are still stuck in abusive relationships. I'm still around abusive people, which is why I'm always trying to explain to you guys, like, use these tools that I'm giving you. I am using these tools now, and they help me to continue every day, and they're necessary. It was necessary for me to learn boundaries. I have the worksheets. I'm going to put the link up here again if you haven't seen them, because it was necessary for me to learn boundaries. Otherwise, I would not be continuing on today. Lord knows how my mental health would be. It was necessary for me to work on my self-esteem. It was necessary for me to work on my PTSD. It was necessary for me to work on all of these things. And I have changed so much. If you ask one of my closest friends who watched me go through everything, you would understand my mental health is leaps and bounds beyond where it was. I was a freaking mess, and I don't know. I think if you ask my friends, they would tell you, they would probably say, I don't know if Ryan was going to make it through this. And what's interesting is that I'm at another place now where I look forward into my life and I think, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this. And I don't have an answer for that. And I hear myself telling all of you that you need to make it through this. You can do this. You can get through this. And that kind of reminds me to tell myself, you can, whatever happens, you can get through this. So I have these fears that I'm going to wind up on the street, that I'm going to be filming these videos out on the street because I don't have money, because I'm going to get my possessions taken away from me. My possessions are still in a storage unit that I'm paying for. I don't really have access to these things. They're packed in there. It's very frustrating. It's really stressful and really frustrating. And so that's where my mental health is at. I'm going to keep walking so I can think about this. I really just feel like I'm complaining, which is probably a symptom of me always being told not to complain from abusive people in my life. And I feel like right now, as I'm speaking to you and telling you all this, I'm hearing a critical voice in my head saying, stop it. You shouldn't be complaining. Just keep moving on. And I know that's wrong. That's wrong. So anyway, I'm going to let that voice go. I'm going to keep walking and think about what else I could say that might be interesting to you, that might help you. I don't know. Is this even helping you? See, this is where my mental health is at right now. We're going to keep going and see what else comes up. I had a whole plan for doing this, that I was going to do my work stuff and then my intimate relationship stuff and my interpersonal relationship stuff, because that's what our mental health affects, and then I forgot. But I basically complained about work stuff, so maybe I should move on a little bit into interpersonal relationships. So I mentioned that some of these old friends of mine, they're still friends with me up on Facebook. I spend a lot of time on Facebook, and I see them doing a lot of stuff that is not mentally healthy, that I can't call them out on. I mean, I can call them out on it, but I get into so many arguments already on Facebook, which is part of my stress, because there's only so many battles you can do in a day. I spend a lot of my day working, either helping people in my support group or doing these videos. Takes me 6 hours depending, or between doing the video, the rendering, the editing, the thumbnails, the description, the sharing it out, the teasers, and all the other stuff that I do. But I'm also doing the worksheets and stuff, and I'm constantly tweaking things here and there online to get my website looking well, and to get like every piece of me that's out on the internet. I'm constantly fine-tuning it. That's part of running a business, so I don't have a lot of time. But I watch people who are friends do a lot of unhealthy mental health stuff. I watch them put out a lot of messages that would damage other people's mental health, like, just think positive, it's your own attitude that you need to change, and this is part of what fuels me here, is to try to combat some of that stuff and to try to put out the other message into the world, which is that it's okay to feel the way you're feeling. It's okay to bitch and complain. It's okay to feel depressed sometimes. It's okay to have suicidal ideation. It's okay to go through a really hard time in life, and the people who are telling you that is not okay and you need to be feeling a certain way, it's probably something mentally unhealthy about them that's making them do that, because that's a very controlling and dismissive behavior. But I see this in people online. I get really frustrated. I also see a lot of people who are in this entrepreneur space who are scamming people, who just blatantly lie, or they're deceptive, they're manipulative. I don't want to be that person. I never try to be that person. I work really hard not to be that person, but I watch other people doing it, and I see them becoming successful, and I see people giving them money for things that I'm like, this is just wrong in my opinion. So that's really frustrating. So interpersonal relationships, I have a few close relationships. I've made friends with a lot of you, which is amazing, because I didn't have a lot of you in my life last year, and that means a lot to me, just to have people that I can reach out to and say hello to, just have a chat with, like, just relax for a minute. That can mean the world sometimes, just to take 5 minutes out and talk to somebody about their day instead of mine. I also have some close friends, and I don't want to make it like my whole life is dismal. We went out to the New York Botanical Garden recently. I'm going to put up some videos now. So that was an amazing day. I do get out of the house every now and then. It's not very often, I'm not even gonna lie. But I do have interpersonal relationships that are okay. Now, as far as intimate relationships, I don't have time for intimate relationships. I'm too busy trying to work and get my life together, and I'm just not at the point where that's a reality. You know, I've tried to do the dating app thing, and I have griped here before on my channel about what it's like to try to have a gay relationship, because there are so many issues with it, and I feel like a lot of the people out in the dating pool, at least in the gay dating pool, the gay male dating pool, they're narcissistic, they don't know how to have interpersonal relationships, they've probably gone through a lot of trauma, and there's just no way to have an intimate relationship with somebody who's got some kind of insecure attachment style. I had one myself, so I'm not really judging here, but again, this is why I'm doing this channel. I'm trying to educate people and give all the tools that I did to get to where I am today, so that maybe other people can have healthy relationships. Like, I know how to do this. I know how to have a relationship. I know how to work on my own mental health. I get all the steps myself, but it doesn't do me any good if I'm alone. Speaking of which, I do get lonely and I do get frustrated when I have good days, when I have things that excite me. I don't have somebody next to me to share it with, and that's frustrating. But that's life. It's normal. People go through those periods. Alright, I'm going to wrap this up, but my biggest pain point right now as far as my mental health is finances. I don't have the financial resources that I need. I'm scrambling to get them. I want to make this, what I'm doing right here, some form of career, as I've watched others in this space do. I don't have the audience for it. I don't have the marketing knowledge and the skills. I am working on those skills, but I'm coming to a point where I'm running out of resources, and I am deathly afraid of what's going to happen, because I cannot envision my future 1 month from now, especially not 3 months from now. I have no idea what it's gonna look like. So that is frightening. And so sometimes I compare myself to others on social media because I see people who are successful. I get really jealous and angry and frustrated watching them throw money around, throw money at each other over frivolous things. when I personally, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this, if any of you have been through a lot of therapy or divorce proceedings, or you know what I'm talking about here. It's really, really frustrating to watch other people go through life happy and wonderful and then dismiss your pain, not care about what you're going through, not listen to you. You get it. I know you get it. So that's where I'm at right now. If you like this kind of a thing, if you want to hear my own mental health struggles, it feels really weird, it feels vulnerable. I don't know if I love it being out on the internet. Like, somebody can pick this up in 10 years, who knows where I'll be in 10 years, and then use this against me, and that's always frustrating when it comes to putting stuff out there, but it is what it is. And so if you like this, comment and let me know. Would you like to hear more of this? My plan right now is to probably do this once a month, just to keep a touch on my own mental health and give you some realistic perspective on me as a human being, because sometimes I think I'm just like a talking head up here, and I don't just want to be a talking head. If you do need help with things like boundaries, which will help you when you are in abusive situations and help you to have better relationships or to increase your self-esteem, those worksheets are already free up on my Patreon page. Check them out. I'm working on worksheets for stress regulation. I'm actually really excited about them because I really like the way I've conceptualized them. I think they're going to help a lot of people. They're not done yet, but probably within the next couple of days, hopefully tomorrow, but we'll see. If you're new here and I haven't scared you away yet, hit subscribe to get mental health videos Monday through Friday, and hit the bell afterwards if you're interested in getting notified every time that I do a video. And I guess that's it. I'm going to go home, be stressed, and finish this. Take care.